Welcome to Think and Thrive here at Sunmarke School. This initiative is designed to connect students with industry leaders. Today, I would like to welcome to Sunmarke School Mr. Aaron Stroble, who is the director at Oceaneering. And today we have moderator Daria, our year 10 student who is also an eco warrior. So let's get started.
I'm Daria, and I have a privilege of welcoming an exciting guest to our Think and Thrive series. Mr. Aaron Stroble is a director at Oceaneering, a US-based company which in UAE operates to serve Abu Dhabi, home to the world's longest artificial wave, and the world expands innovation, sustainability, and renewable energy. They can human pioneer in combining adventure, technology, and environmental responsibility. Today, we'll explore his journey, the exciting world of renewable energy, and how innovation is shaping the future of sustainable industries. Give a warm welcome to Mr. Aaron Stroble.
Daria, thank you. And for the audience, I got a chance to see the school. It's really amazing. We are very fortunate, and I'm very honored to be here today. So thank you for having me.
Okay, ready?
Am I? Yes. Good. It's Phil.
Can you tell us a little about your journey? How you came to Lee, serve Abu Dhabi, and work with Oceaneering?
I think the majority of the audience, as we were talking about here, is secondary or above. So I'll start the journey there. I was in an American school system. I believe it's kind of the end of your secondary experience. I went to boarding school in the United States. When I got there, it seemed like every other student around me had their entire life mapped out. They knew what they wanted, where they wanted to go to university. They knew which major they were going to study, where their first internship was going to be. They had it all. It was all locked in, which is awesome, right? For students at your age and as you progress, that having that focus, having that purpose, that was cool. I, on the other hand, did not have that, and so I was envious, right? But what that did catalyze was, hey, I need to define not my purpose, but what gets me excited. What are the things that I do that bring me real, authentic joy? Why do I want to get up in the morning? And while I didn't quite get to the exact, here's where I'm going to go to university, but all the way up the ladder, I did define that I liked helping people. And so I kind of made that sacred. I memorialized that and said, hey, that's going to be my North Star. As I make decisions throughout my life, I get joy when I'm helping people. So let me hold that as what I know is a truth, and then I'll let that guide me. So coming out of university, my first professional experience was I was part of the team that operated a nuclear reactor on board a submarine. So I guess first chance at sustainability. Pretty well. Hopefully we get to talk about that later. And then from there, I went in more into academia. I was at a research laboratory. And what we were doing, Ocean and Atmospheric Science Division, in the same way that astronauts go to space and perform tests and experiments to improve life on Earth, we were looking below the ocean. We were looking at deep water. Hey, what were some of the experiments and the tough challenges that we could answer underneath the water that could make people's lives better? But the time horizon, and this is important for eco warriors, right? The time horizon in that space, in that industry, that was a 10 to 15 to 20 year thing, right? These were big brains, solving problems on a long scale. I had the opportunity to join industry, Oceaneering International, where they compressed that. They said, hey, we need technology and services to make people's lives better now. And so they were fielding robotics and tools and services and things on a 1 to 2 year time scale. So that's what brought me to Oceaneering. Here in the Emirates, we serve almost every sector you can think of. Again, let's go back to that North Star. All I knew was I wanted to make people's lives better. So we operate and maintain a machine that creates this artificial surfing wave in Abu Dhabi. We're part of manufacturing that builds autonomous vehicles. We do serve the oil and gas and the energy industry. So all that tied in to kind of keeping that sacred, keeping that is the focus, and that's how I got to here.
So your inspiration was to help people.
Yeah, but again, it was at the time when I was sitting in the seat where you're sitting, that seemed so flimsy. It seemed so abstract because my peers were, they had it, yeah, they had it all neatly mapped out. But again, you have coaches, teachers, parents, everyone's telling you how life works and how to do it best. That worked for me. So just one opinion of many.
Okay, so running the world's longest artificial wave, like you mentioned, it must be very unique. What was the most memorable moment for you?
I will answer your question, but I want to modify it. Is that
yeah, sure,
okay? Sure. Let me bin it as memorable moments. So quick block diagram. There's this 700-meter long pond in the middle of the desert. And on each side of it, there's these two big pulleys. And they produce about the equivalent power or horsepower of, think of 10 Ferraris on each side. So these are 6,000 horsepower machines. And then they pull this foil back and forth to create the wave. One of the things you'll experience quite a bit as you go through your studies is that things fail at interfaces. That's true for governments, that's true for politics, that's true for engineering. That's true, right? When two things come together, that's when the probability of failure can happen. And for us, our machine out there, it is a lot of interfaces and a lot of points to fail. We've got software code written by some really brilliant minds in Denmark. And then there's a group in the southeast part of the United States that runs the hydraulic. So it's just all these kind of unique parts that come together. And the most memorable thing is when we failed, and we failed a lot over the last 2 years. So when I look back, when Kelly Slater came out and surfed the wave for the very first time, I certainly remember that, but not as clearly and not as impactfully as when we had a massive software failure, about 6 months before that. And it's memorable because the team came together. People performed as individuals. They grouped together to solve a challenge, and that's the most memorable for me. But that applies to sustainability too. I think we'll get into this more, but
maybe
you've got a massive challenge in front of you. Everyone's sitting here. Of how do we break through failures? What is the creativity needed to bring sustainable energy, more of it, to the grid? But I suspect that as you go through your schooling and your career, you're going to remember the failures of where you powered through, you came together, you relied on friends and family, and you overcame something more so than the top score you got on a math test you totally aced, right? That the struggles are far more influential than for me than the successes along the way.
That is a quite unique answer, but I agree. Reflecting on your failures, kind of looking back, it's very impactful and memorable. If you don't remember your past, how you are supposed to kind of move forward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it makes it that much sweeter when you do create something that you find value in, or you do conquer something. It's the failures, it's the struggle that
it brings you like kind of that satisfaction when you kind of overcome the thing you were struggling on, and then you power up and you're like, I'm on top of the world.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. Okay, so it's kind of tied to what we were talking about, but the next question is, what is the biggest challenge you face when combining adventure with renewable energy initiatives?
This is why I'm most excited to be here today. I'll be country agnostic. Let's use the last 100 years as a reference point. There was the discovery of oil in various countries around the world. There was industrial revolutions happening at staggering times. But let's use the last 100 years. All of the world's energy demand has been coming from oil and gas. Okay.
Fossil fuels.
It's coming from fossil fuels. So the creative thinkers, the visionaries, everyone has been pouring that creativity into making fossil fuels safe, affordable, accessible. So when you go around the world, and someone can fact check me, but it's about 80%, right, of our energy is coming from fossil fuels. And it's the safest form of energy to get right now. But so the challenge for everyone out here, and for me too, is how do we use the new tools that we have? How do we use the creativity that's inside of us? How do we use our passion? How do we use our team building? And how do we change that? I don't think anyone here would say 80%, that's great. Don't need any more renewable energy. That's not the answer. I don't know what the balance is. There are think tanks and big minds that will come up and tell the world what the right thing is for the market, but your energy is not going to go into how do I make fossil fuels better. That's evolved. It's true, but that's been happening, right?
Yeah.
We wanted the world needed a safe form of energy. We're using more energy now than we have. Look at data centers.
Yeah, and fossil fuels more the more accessible ones.
It is the more accessible for everyone in the world. But our challenge is going to be how do we use our creativity? Because so my first, I know you have more questions.
It's
you
okay.
got to let me
It's
ramble.
okay.
My first job was in nuclear fission, and it was this totally awesome source of energy for a small reactor made of uranium to create clean energy. We have wind, we have solar, we have hydro. How do we make that not just more accessible? How do we make it safer? How do we make it more cost effective? And companies want to do it. Industry wants to do it, but it's going to be us that are going to have to make that happen. And that's why the future is so exciting. We are going. When you're leaders in industry, you're going to look back and say, "Hey, I made a difference." Because this is the moment in time when we can do it.
Yeah, that was kind of like. It also ties to the next question, so thank you. How do you see the renewable energy transforming recreational industries such as Surf Abu Dhabi in the next 5 to 10 years? So you touched upon that.
No, but there's more, Daria. There's more. People, again, I'm speaking from my experience, but one of the things is that when someone says creativity, you think, I'm going to make this new widget no one has ever seen or heard of before. I would challenge this group to think of creativity as there is technology right now being utilized in other applications. How do I take that safe, affordable, accessible technology, and how do I apply that, whether that's to recreational activities, whether that's to renewable energy? What thing do I need to do that no one's thought of to tweak this where I can field something now? We don't have to wait. The power of modeling. Nicholas, your principal, took us through some of the labs that you have here on the campus.
Yeah.
You have the ability to think of something and simulate it in a safe environment. It takes out all the pressure of failure. You fail 100 times in AutoCAD, whatever, right? Use something, but to innovate fast, think about you taking what's there. How do I make it better? How can I look at it through a different lens that someone hasn't for the last 100 years, so that I can make an accessible, a clean source of, how can I harness that source of energy to get it out there faster?
Yes, because it seems like everything has been already invented, used, and it's been there, but it can get better.
It can get better. Okay, so Surf Abu Dhabi, you talked about the surf park. These big machines that are on either side of the pond that drag this, that pull this foil back and forth, that technology has been used in the North Sea for oil exploration for about 15 years. It is the same code that drives those motors to vary a speed and acceleration profile of a thing across that. If you went to an oil rig in the North Sea, you would see that it's tweaked. It's a little different. Okay. But if you didn't know it was different, if I showed you two pictures, you would say, oh, that's a winch sitting off on the North Sea. Oh, no. That's a winch creating an environmentally friendly, I invite the fact checkers. Okay, maybe that was Q&A for. But the artificial surfing industry, I believe it's about 1/10 of the water consumption that if you went out with your parents to play golf over the weekend to water a golf course, there's a lot of jewels of how this is friendly to the environment, but it's the same tech. It's been tweaked. It took creativity of people to make that happen. And that's why you're in such a beautiful position to do that right now with the power of simulation at your hands.
Yes, school offers extremely good opportunities, like mine near Chad.
The facilities are amazing. You guys,
Yeah, we're very lucky.
You should be very proud of that.
I also agree. Okay, can you share some insights on how companies can balance business growth with environmental responsibility?
Yes. We talked about the global energy demand signal. I don't think anyone here, and I don't want to speak for you, but is going to say, you know what? Let's dial down the global energy consumption. I don't need to jump on ChatGPT this afternoon. I can't live without it, right? I'm so lazy. If I'm in a Microsoft app, I'll go to Copilot. If I'm on my personal phone, I'll try. Okay, we don't want to dial down the tools that we have at our fingertips. Okay, what we do want to do, and again, I'll speak for the group. We want to find out how to meet that energy demand more responsibly. Are we going to make it 100% renewable, zero fossil fuel? I don't know. I will not constrain you, but maybe the balance is somewhere different. So when companies look at renewable energy, they're looking at it through two lenses in the way that, and there's things we've talked about already. One, how do I take what I know how to do safely? Because we have to be able to protect the people that create this energy, whether that's a technician hanging off a rope looking at an oil platform or inspecting a wind turbine, whatever. We have to do it safely. And so there are proven methods and technologies, whether that's through underwater transmission of electricity, whether that's how do we anchor a floating wind farm? Hey, we know how to do suction anchors on the seafloor. So one of the things that companies do is, hey, again, how do we adapt that to accelerate that transition? Second part of it is how they need to meet the energy demand, and so the speed at which you do that, the speed at which you can field the technology to support the renewable sector. That's pressure, but they have to match. They have to match that. So let's go back to the very beginning for a moment. You think about your guiding principle, whatever that is.
Okay.
Businesses take a very similar approach in that they will say, "Hey, I know there is a global energy demand. I know that there has to be infrastructure to meet that. What can I do?" On the lead up to that, what are the support services that are needed? What are the products that are needed to support that are agnostic to what the energy source is, whether that's wind, whether that's solar? So they will not invent, but they will create technologies and they'll innovate almost in an agnostic stage so that they can get when the market says, hey, this is the accessible source of energy. They have a product or a service that can support that, regardless of what the end is. And so, just the same way, don't constrain yourself, or maybe do, but my opinion, don't constrain yourself in secondary or in sixth form by saying, I will do this, this, and this. For me, it was, hey, this is what I want to accomplish. This is what brings me joy. And again, companies are doing the same thing. I can create this thing that's agnostic. Whatever the end application is, we can make it work.
Yeah, that's a very nice approach. I can see. Okay. Then again, leading in, what advice would you give to young people who are passionate about science, technology, and sustainability, and combining them in their future careers? You've given us a lot of advice.
I've given a lot of advice, but I'm not going to stop here.
Of course.
Let me tie the three together. You have tools right now that puts you in a different position than me, than your parents. Let me expand on that. When you look at a principal or a coach or a head of a business, so the word experience comes up a lot, right? Okay, they're experienced. They've seen stuff. They know how to. They've seen that before, so they know what to do. My personal opinion is that we are in a different paradigm, and we're in a different paradigm as as eco warriors too. What does experience mean? Experience means pattern recognition. Okay, that's cool. Everyone here, you could jump on your phone, Daria, and have your supercomputer give you pattern recognition experience that is equivalent to every adult you're interacting with, right? Our artificial intelligence platforms are giving you that pattern recognition.
Yes.
They are. They are. Okay. Okay. So pattern recognition, cool. Second thing, when someone says, "Oh, that adult, he's experienced. He's seen it before. He knows what's going to go wrong." We walked through the spaces today, and I think it was year 4 students. They were doing simulations of stuff before making I think it was a reusable lunch bag, whatever, right? The tools that we collectively, I'm going to put myself in the category of young people for a second. We as young people, we can simulate it fast. We can simulate very complex scenarios with the software tools that we have. It is not a bank of supercomputers in somewhere in Southern California or in Silicon Valley that we have to get access to run very sophisticated simulations. So when someone says, "Oh, they haven't seen that before," well, guess what? As young people, we can go out and see it before. Okay, so I will answer your question. Just bear with me, Daria. Okay, so this whole notion of I need to have experience, I need to have all this where I can be a leader in the renewable energy space, in the innovation space, in the pick the thing that you're passionate about. You don't have to have that right now. If you have the creativity to think of the questions, to prompt, to understand pattern recognition, if you've got a great idea where you can go out and simulate it, fail fast, and at a very young age, in a very early stage in your career, have a whole body of understanding what fails and what doesn't fail, you're bringing yourself to on par with these leaders, and you can become a leader. You can be a leader with the tools that we have. So if I was, what was the question? To give advice, right? Hey,
Yes.
Take chances, fail in the simulation space, be creative, ask tough questions, ask creative questions, ask detailed questions to the artificial, pattern creating models that you have in front of you. Start from the beginning. Take something that brings you pure joy, okay? And then go out and experiment with it. Take stuff that's already worked, improve on it, and you can have the speed and you can, more quickly become a leader to get that out to your peers, to make the world a better place, to make people's lives better. You have that power right now. You don't have to wait. That's, I guess, my encouragement and really my charge to this group is don't wait. Don't wait to do these things.
Yeah, seize the opportunity. I agree.
Seize the opportunity. It's right there for you.
Okay, now a little bit of fun. We're having a rapid fire.
Are you not having fun?
I am, but more fun.
More fun, okay.
Rapid fire question round. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions.
Okay.
You have to answer quickly and no overthinking.
No overthinking.
Yeah, just first thing that comes to mind.
Oh, gosh.
I might ask you to elaborate.
Are you going to
on
ask them too?
maybe later.
Okay. Let's go.
Okay, ready? Favorite renewable energy source?
Oh, God. Nuclear. Okay. But let me expand on that. I used to, nuclear power is so awesome. And but when you think about that, and then you think, there's wind, there's solar, there's then you start comparing that to the others. The power available on our planet is phenomenal. It's exciting. Nuclear, finally.
Okay, well, we might talk about later.
No. Sorry.
Okay, one extreme sport you'd like to try?
Do you know I work almost every day, with this machine that creates a surfing wave. Never surfed.
You can't surf.
I can't surf. And I'm scared. I'm petrified of heights. So no skydive. Sorry, I'm going to give you an answer by,
It's
a
fine.
bunch of knots. No skydiving, no surfing. I do love the water, though.
Horse riding, maybe? Are you good with animals?
Let's get back to the horse riding thing later.
Okay.
If we have time.
Okay.
Yeah, Daria, you're keeping me on track here. Sorry.
If you could have one superpower to make to make the world a more sustainable place, what it would be?
It's got to be compassion. Yeah, compassion. Final
Okay,
answer.
let's move on. Best innovation you've seen recently?
I love having this machine that I can ask random questions to. You would not want to see my history. It's but I love having that. And who knows if the answers are real or not, right? But it's
As long as they come up.
they're coming and it gets your creative juices going. And if you want, right or wrong information fast, it's right there. It's right in front. I don't know if everyone has phones, but it's right there.
Okay, surfing or other water sport? I know you
Other
can't
water
surf.
sports, I can't, yeah.
Yeah.
But I do love the water. We're in UAE, right? It's
She's everywhere.
it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
One book that inspires you?
Oh my God, the Cell by Frederick Öklund. He's this Swedish real estate guy. He was on this TV show about selling real estate in New York. He's really passionate about what he does. You feel the energy in his writing about what his calling was, right?
I guess that inspires you too, right?
It does. Again, he found the thing that brought him joy, and he committed to it. The Cell, Friedrich Öklund.
Yes. Dream collaboration?
No, that's crazy. Last summer, I got to see Taylor Swift in concert in Milan. And then right before that, I had just seen the Backstreet Boys in Abu Dhabi. And they were both, Taylor was better, right? But they were both equally, they were good. Taylor Swift and the Backstreet Boys. Great
Are you a
collab.
Swiftie?
I am. It was a great
Own it.
concert. It was a great concert. Everything about it. It was awesome.
AI in renewable energy, exciting or scary?
Yes. Yes. Exciting.
Both? Exciting.
Both, but exciting. AI in renewable energy, AI wherever, again, simulation, pattern matching, machine learning, that levels the playing field where I feel like I can make a difference early in my career, at the beginning of my career, because I have these powerful tools. Exciting. Not scary, not scary.
Okay, noted. One phrase that you always live by?
Oh, we can come back to the horse thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So the phrase, sorry, I have to answer quick, but then
Yeah.
Always forward. Okay.
Always forward.
This woman I worked with, she was our lead software engineer in the aerospace division. She was an avid horse rider. And we were doing this project where literally nothing was going right. Everything was going wrong. Company was not pleased, client not pleased. The team, we kind of blocked out the noise and just kind of lived in our bubble to try to get it right. But she would come into every meeting and she would give this, I guess it's an equestrian saying, always forward, right? And it's about learn from your mistakes, but keep the energy moving forward. The horse feels that, always look forward, always forward. And she would she would never let us get discouraged, always forward.
Yeah, when you fall down, you always have to get back on a horse.
You always got to get up. And I think about that every day, always forward.
Okay, if not in sustainability, you would be what field?
I'm not answering fast enough, all right? Am I? I always liked geometry. I would be a horrible teacher, but geometry class, I'd be a geometry teacher. That's it. Yeah.
You sound like a nice teacher.
I talk too much. But I love geometry. All the maths were exciting, but I'll pick geometry teacher.
Okay, that's it for the rapid fire round.
Okay.
It wasn't too rapid, but that's fine too.
No, that was my fault, though.
That was
so
fine
sorry.
too. Let's get back to more serious questions.
Oh,
it's also
okay.
advice. Advice. What advice would you give to students that are interested in sustainability and renewable energy but aren't sure where to start? I know you said AI, but anything else you can throw into the mix?
Yeah, AI is a bit of, it's kind of not lazy. It's an obvious answer, right? You're going to have a teacher that's going to tell you how to do something. You're going to have a coach. You're going to have a parent. They're all equally right. And I won't answer the question. So take my opinion as one of many, and then go out and do whatever you want to do. And if you screw up, know that your mom or dad's gonna be like, "Hey, I told you," But just thing one, do what you want to do. Take the advice. Read all these things that you want to do. Okay, going specific to renewable and sustainable energy. There are so many cool opportunities. How do we transmit electricity? When I came into the industrial robotics in this field, there was this massive need for really good electrical thinkers. So if it's your thing, there is a electrical engineering, electricity, how we transmit electricity, how it's generated at the very fundamental. Big power is one discipline. Controls, electric control systems. Get yourself under the umbrella. If you're interested in it, get yourself under the umbrella of electrical engineering. It is an awesome and an exciting field, and that you will not be bored, and you will be able to make a difference with that skill.
Okay. How can young people develop skills to be innovative and problem solvers in industries and in general, basically, that combine technology and sustainability?
Think of really stupid things that your friends would be like, that is the worst idea ever, and go and try it. Fail really, really fast. The company I work in, one of our core business areas is we put robots at about 4,000 meters below the ocean and below the surface of the ocean. And we support the deep water. That's one of the lines of businesses we support. There's about 250 of these robots scattered around the world. Very early on, we failed fast. The company knew that this was a market that there were going to be a lot of competitors, and there are a lot of competitors. But the way to get a mature, reliable, safe product is you fail fast. And when you fail, you own it. You tell people, hey, I knew this wasn't a sure thing, but I needed to try it to understand this. Okay, so, but some of that's offset with the simulation tools we have, right? But my advice would be is to start thinking of really wild stuff and start failing. And when you fail, so thing one, fail. Thing two, learn from it quickly, and then make that thing better. And the speed at innovation is you're going to you'll be intoxicated by it, right? It's exciting. It's fun. You're sucked into it. And if you want to do something exciting and fun, it's to fail fast. Learn, get better, and keep going.
Yeah, I guess with the newer generation, things change quite quickly, and
they do.
We need new ideas.
Well, and your generation's not afraid to fail.
Yeah.
No, they're not, right? Fortunately, not to make this about me, I had really terrible grades in secondary and sixth form. I mean, really bad, and it didn't faze me at the time. But I was failing. I was learning. It wasn't showing up in the test scores. But so don't be afraid to fail. Just get into it. Try it.
Well, thank you for your insights. And thank you for taking us on this journey behind the scenes of Oceaneering, the world of innovation and sustainable energy. You really have just learned a lot of new things. Your advice is priceless, in my opinion. And thank you so much for being here, and we're so glad to have had you here. And now it's the time for the Q&A. If you have any questions, please ask.
Thank you, Daria.
Of course.
Has the social awareness around climate change changed the field in any way already? And how do you think, as more and more people become aware and become educated on the topic, how do you think the field will evolve and the new technologies that will emerge from it?
That's a great question.
From the
In
attention.
your name, sorry?
Lisa.
Lisa? Okay, thank you, Lisa. Two parts, I guess, to the question, right? Social awareness around climate change. And global energy demand going up. The passion, the excitement to protect this wonderful earth that we live in, and the awareness of that is going up as well. So maybe pressure is not the right word, but the impetus, the desire to be able to match global energy demand through more sustainable, cleaner alternatives, that's a good thing, right? That pressure drives innovation. That pressure takes a person whose idea that maybe was a little too far out there, and it brings it into the mix. And not only drives the innovation, it drives the speed of that. So awesome. I think those two things can live harmoniously together. Because again, I don't think anyone's saying, hey, we're aware of the climate, the different impacts on the climate, so let's not run the lights, and oh, that hospital, let's turn off the electricity. I don't think anyone's saying that, right? But they are saying, hey, engineers, smart people, big thinkers, academics, philanthropy, whatever, figure it out on the demand side so that we can do it responsibly. Great thing. On the second part of that question, speed of innovation. You, Lisa, you're going to go into university and you're going to enter the workforce, and you are going to create and think and produce and write faster than I did, okay? And you are going to drive, you're going to be able to drive decisions faster. You're going to be able to take a leadership position faster because of the tools that you have. So when you apply that to, and maybe we're all passionate about this here, when you apply that to sustainable energy, it's going to make a huge difference. It's exciting.
What age were you when you started working in the Oceaneer industry?
Oceaneering, yeah. Your name, sorry?
Alyssa.
Alyssa, hi, thank you. So out of university, immediately joined this team that was working on the nuclear reactor. So it was probably in my mid-20s that I joined the more academic side of the ocean. And what was cool was that on one side, you see the power of the energy we have available to us naturally. And then when you join a passionate team, you see the power of the power of the human spirit, right? But you see the power that can happen when a group of people that are like ultra into this, ultra committed, come together, and you're so excited, you're so energized to say like, hey, we can make a difference.
Yeah, you kind of go on that wave with everyone's vibe,
yes,
and you
the
go
wave,
together.
The vibe, yes.
It's very important to have passionate people.
Mid-20s, sorry. Short answer, mid-20s.
How many times have you failed?
Oh my God.
That's good. That's great. I had 4 pretty good failures this morning, even before I drove to Dubai. Okay, one of them was we had a procedure that was incorrectly written. No one got hurt, but we had a failure. The second one was someone on my team wasn't paying attention, and we failed them with kind of how we were supporting that person. The third one, we had a software failure in one of our, not at the surf venue, but we had a software failure. And then the fourth failure was My daughter, she's 11. I took her into swim practice this morning at 5:30, and the one thing she said to me before leaving the house was, "Hey, can you get my badge?" Her lanyard, right? You know what? The one thing like I absolutely didn't pick up before we left the house was her lanyard, right? So yeah, four pretty good failures before noon today. It's a lot. The numbers up there.
Okay, so this will be our final question.
Oh.
What was your most unexpected takeaway working in the field of oceaneering?
So when you oil and gas business, right? Deep water oil wells. So you send these robots down very deep. When you talk about renewable energy, so floating wind farms and some of these other things, it's very shallow water. And when you're shallow water, the currents are high. And so we had to adapt our robots to go from the deep water to a shallow water environment. And a lot of the changes come from, hey, I need a more responsive robot. I need it to have more power, whatever, right? But what shocked me was the fundamentals. When I always thought oil and gas and renewables were like opposite ends, like you have to be one or the other, right? What shocked me was there was so much technology, at least on the support side, that could be transferred over to make this more accessible quicker. And maybe I was an idiot, right? Maybe everyone knew that. I didn't. So that was one of the more memorable things for me when I came into the business.
Great. You will have a moment to talk to him after the series, after the session.
Can we give one more round of applause for Daria? She was awesome. Thank you.
Insightful and very impactful. Being in education for over 20 years, one of the things that I've always told my students is to fail forward. So I just shared that message. On behalf of everyone here at Sunmarke, we would like to extend our gift to the speakers to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And to our eco warriors that joined us here in the audience, thank you so much. You guys were amazing. And so that's our session, and thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.